Cool. So I still can't believe that time has gone by so fast. Like it's week 12, I think. Is it week? I hope it's week 12, and I'm not just repeating myself. Time has gone by really fast, and that is a good and bad thing. It's week 12. We're going through kind of. I'm going to try to start wrapping things up. I'm probably going to start a bigger project for what I'm going to show is kind of more the advanced hacker way of doing a final, and I probably won't be able to finish, but it'll be cool, and you guys will get to see the process and probably be totally confused by it. Hopefully, that's not the case of everything I've got going on. If you guys have any questions, again, I'm open. I have been pretty bad about getting back to emails, but I try to get you guys via email if possible. I'm actually going to take care of the final stuff and explain it first, since I've had a couple of people ask me about the final, what it's for, and what you need to present. Basically, all I want is like a screenshot or set of screenshots of a project, a big thing that you're using Linux to do. It could be something like setting up a multiplayer game using Wine and a bunch of other systems that are running Windows, like Age of Empires LAN party. Anyone wants to get that set up? Extra credit there. I'll show up. No, but any sort of like project like that, or if you want to like set up your own website and you have your own website, you're hosting yourself with your Linux server. That's awesome. I want to see that. Or if you whatever you're doing with Linux, and that whatever you kind of want to do, would think would be cool. I want to see a screenshot of it, but I also want to know kind of a rationale, like a short paragraph or two of like why you chose to do what you wanted to do, and then what your experience has been with Linux and what you think you'll be able to use it in the future with. Like for me, when I took this class, close to 10 years ago now. I really got a lot out of it. I did some really cool stuff that has stuck with me, for the past 10 years, and I've grown my knowledge. I've done it. I had switched to using Linux after I graduated high school, and I came to college, and I took Linux class, and it really helped me kind of get along with Linux, and it kind of expanded what I thought I could do and what I thought I wanted to do with Linux. So, and with computers in general, like the stuff I learned with Linux really took me and made me a better system administrator, and made me better with Windows and Linux. So this stuff isn't just for Linux. You can take some of the stuff you learn and really apply it to Windows, like pipes and all the command line stuff. A lot of it works on Windows. I get frustrated sometimes because there's like one or two things the Windows shell doesn't do that Linux does. So that's all. I mean, I really just want a short little description of what you did, why you did it, and what motivated you to do it, and how you think you're going to use it. So it could be anything. I'm going to do something that interests me. I'm going to do a Samba 4 domain controller. So I'm going to basically say that, whatever, $1,000, $2,000 you spend on Windows Server, totally not worth it because you can do it for free with Linux. And I get, time costs money too, but for $2,000, I mean, it could take quite a while to rack that up, in terms of installing it and getting it working. And, then the upkeep as well, if it costs less in upkeep. So I'm going to do it. I think it's cool. So if you guys think that, like, I don't know, that digital audio is cool and want to, show how you've set up Hydrogen and, what is the other stuff that you can record audio and kind of make music, or you've made a video with Blender or whatever. I mean, this sort of stuff is cool. I think it's cool, and I hope you guys hopefully think it's cool. If not, well, I'm sorry. I'm not cool. Um, so that's it for the final. It should be pretty simple and pretty easy. And I hope you guys put some time into it because we got what, 3 weeks about. So 3 weeks to get it done. I will say, like, if you don't do anything else this semester, get me that. Get me the final, and you're good to go. I hope you do it all. I hope it's all fun and interesting and exciting. But you know, I'm giving you guys the freedom to go off in your own direction and do that. So enough on the final. Today I was reading some documentation on actually the Fedora magazine. I'm gonna duck go it because I'm terrible with remembering things and knowing how many domains are parked and how much crap that involves. It's not worth it. I was on Fedora magazine today reading about um, Fedora 22 and the future of Yum and DNF. And I really honestly had never heard of DNF before. I think maybe back somewhere in the back of my head, I had heard that it was eventually going to replace Yum or that something was. But Yum is actually going away in Fedora eventually. And I was reading this and I'm like, man, what is DNF? I've never heard of it. And I looked it up and I found this page, the features page for DNF. And I got here and it was like, just drive DNF, use DNF command instead of Yum command. So it works exactly like Yum. It's already installed on your system. But one of the things, it's not a whole lot different, but it's designed to be faster. So I was just looking for something I could install and kind of show you guys. So I was going to do a DNF search OwnCloud. Also, that would be a good idea for Final. OwnCloud, set up, use it. And I don't know if you guys noticed how fast that was. But it was ridiculously fast. Even Yum, of course, Yum's going to be fast now. If you look, Yum takes a few seconds to get anywhere. I mean, to be fair, Yum's awesome and it's really good at what it does. But DNF actually stands for, I don't know how it stands for this, but apparently what they're claiming is it stands for Dandified Yum. Like, you don't even really see it run. It's just bam, there it is. So I'm going to do a DNF. Man, that's going to be hard to switch over. DNF install OwnCloud. And it's going to go out and be like, hey, you want to install this? Like, yeah. It's like, cool. Wow. No way. Like, that's not, maybe it is faster. I don't know. I'm actually kind of impressed with it so far. But the user interface, like, it looks like Yum, it acts like Yum, and it pretty much is Yum. But it's better. It's dandified. Wow. All right. Dandified. So I'll just wait for this to install because if you guys don't know what OwnCloud is, which version of OwnCloud? It's an older version of OwnCloud, but OwnCloud is pretty cool. Cool. Org? Yeah. So OwnCloud is actually to really secure and having your own privacy. Instead of giving your data to some other company to have, you can
Your audio cut out.
Audio die. Is my audio back?
Now it is.
What?
Died again.
Oh, you know what?
Your audio's back now.
Only for a little while.
What is up with your internet tonight?
You don't actually get this. Maybe. I got audio back.
Yes, you do.
Maybe. All right. I'm gonna roll with it for a little bit. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to keep this window open so I can at least see my audio bar at the bottom. Okay. So OwnCloud, like I said, can do that. You guys can install it, play with it, test it. It does require a little bit of setup. Very similar to WordPress in its setup. I've done it before, so I'm sure you guys can too. Probably better and faster than I can. So that's it for that. I wanted to recap from last week why you'd want to set up Bind. And I actually think my system is still set up to use DNS. Oh, you know what? It was probably that poll. That would be upload. I don't know. Anyway, so my system is still set up, I believe, to use my local DNS server that I set up last week with Bind. So let's actually see. I didn't explain this last week, but there's one file in your system that controls which DNS servers you use, and that is the etc resolve.conf. And we edited it, or at least I think we did. There's this etc resolve.conf, and it's not in there, but we're going to add it. My server back in there. Name server. This might screw my audio up because it will be it'll be pointing to my local host, which I don't think I have it set up to resolve external stuff yet, but we can do a NS lookup. What did I call this thing?
The Milky Way look like Spanish.
Yeah, Lactea. Mercury.lactea. Right? No. No, it didn't like that. Sure. Let me give our search to Lactea, which literally just means milk in Spanish. Well, does it? No, leche.
Yeah.
But it comes from the Latin, well, lac something. Like lactose is milk sugar. Anyway, totally unrelated. So I should be able to do an NS lookup for Mercury, and it should find it on my local system. I'm not even using my local system, so we're going to do dig, which is a way to find it's a utility to do name server lookups. And this is useful. Like, say you bought a domain name, this similar sort of stuff, you'd be basically plugging in this stuff to your registrar for a domain name server or a DNS server to be able to resolve your host name. Like I have a website, and I had to go to my host, my registrar, and I had to use, like I had to put in the IP for the host name. So I also bought a VPS through Linode, so I have a Linux virtual machine out on the internet that I can use, and it has a static IP. So I had to go tell my DNS server that is public on my registrar what the IP of my host for my website was, so that when you go to my website, it actually goes to the IP of my server. And dig is a tool you can use to see what resolves to what. And you can also tell it, like using at, tell what DNS server you want to query against, and then I can give it a name to query. So probably bind isn't running, I'm guessing. I'm just going to go for that. This usually doesn't take this long unless it failed, which it did. So now if I do that again, well, it still doesn't like me. It's running. All right, I'm listening everywhere. All right, that should work. Let's do dig again. It's saying connection timed out, no servers could be reached, which is weird because I am running. Come on. Maybe it's my firewall. What do you guys think?
I'll be stuck if I alone. You'll have to be put on the firewall.
No, it's not a firewall issue, huh? I'm listening on 53 and 953. Huh. But not 53 on IPv4. Even though it says to do that. Yep, I mean, huh. Well, that's a little interesting because right here I'm saying listen on port 53 on my IPv4 any address. So that's a little strange. let's do this. I'm going to go into my resolve, and I'm going to actually put my name server at ::0. Or maybe I can't use, that is loopback in, does everybody know IPv6 that well? Oh, it's 1. ::1. Well, I was close, but no cigar. Here, instead of 127.0.0.1, I'm just going to do localhost. Oh, that could be a problem. So let's do dig of ::1. This is : is an IPv6 address. ::1 is loopback, so it's the same as like 127.0.0.1 or just saying localhost. Ah! When I access it through IPv6, it works great. Yeah, so for those of you who are watching, the light went off in here because it's on a motion sensor and timer. And it's much easier to see the screen. All right, maybe now we can do, it still doesn't like IPv4 for some strange reason, but this is working, so I'm okay with that. But I can also then look up my IP address, 172.16.0.193, and it returns it should return Mercury. Why is it not? Anyway, you can see that this actually resolves to Mercury. And this is really useful on the internet if you know how to set up these things for like your website, personal website, or on your internal network if you want each of your systems to actually have a name associated with it. So say you have 10 computers in your household, and you know, and not just computers, but like phones, tablets, that sort of stuff. They all have IP addresses and all are on your network. Just because they're not like what you normally would think of as a normal computer doesn't mean they're not actually computers. Like a tablet is still a computer. A phone is still a computer. They're just different types of computers that we use in different ways. And they all can participate on your network. And like, for example, just to kind of show you guys my personal naming scheme, my phone is plugged in to my computer, and it's called Jupiter. And the reason it's called Jupiter is because I actually named the host name of my phone is Jupiter. Like I have my laptop is, well, now Mercury. My server used to be Sol, like for the sun. Latin, anyway, doesn't matter. Carrying on. So like it can help you keep track of your systems in a more consistent way. So you know, like, you know, this laptop is, well, this is Mercury. That's Mars. This is Earth. That's something else. Keeps it where you can kind of keep track of all the devices on your network without having to remember, like, you know, a machine name or something. Or say you want to transfer files between like Mercury and Jupiter. Well, I can do that because they're both on my network. And if I can just say like SCP file 1 and then root at Jupiter, You know, copy that using the name instead of like an IP address. Because I don't know about you guys, but I really don't like typing IP addresses. Like, I think it's dumb. And typing Jupyter is a lot better than typing 172.16.0.167. It's dumb, I think. Maybe you guys like typing IP addresses, you know, whatever. Now, when it gets into IPv6, no one wants to type those addresses. Oh, yeah, names are also easier to remember than IPs. Let's see, IPv6 example. Let's do examples of IPv6 addresses. These, I think, were designed by masochists because no one wants to type in that address. This is a full-blown IPv6 address. FE 80.00000000000202 B3 FF FE 1E 8329. Seriously? No. I mean, I get IPv6's problem and what they're trying to solve, but this, because once everyone goes to IPv6, I pity you if you try to use this naming. I mean, you could get by with a network with just IPs and IPv4, but IPv6, it's not happening. Not happening. Yeah, MAC addresses are bad because they're like, what? 6 sets of 2 hexadecimal numbers. So I don't know what that is. 12 times 2, 24 letters long. And they're all 24 letters long. With IPv6, you can be as little as 3 characters, and at most, however many god awful numbers those are. That's not memorable. Even in its shortened form. Oh man, that's so much better. Right. So anyway, yeah, DNS comes in handy when it comes to these stupid IPv6 addresses. And apparently, since my computer only likes IPv6 right now, at least to listen on DNS for, I don't know. Anyway, it's fun. And actually, most routers, it's kind of funny because most
Audio died again.
okay. Yeah, there we got audio now. Little wisdom from Congress there. The internet is not a truck. You can't just put whatever you want on it. It's like a series of tubes. Thank you, Congress. Thank you for legislating and making laws about the internet when you have literally no clue about what it's doing.
It's not as bad as the island's going to tip over and sink, though.
Not quite. Anyway, where was I going when my audio quit? See, this is very frustrating. I think I was done with DNS, so we'll be done with DNS. That's what it's for. I hope you guys got it set up. It's pretty cool. Oh, most routers, that's where I was going. Most routers actually have not only Linux on them, but actually run bind. They run named D because they basically run it in a mode where it goes out and caches your requests for names. So, for example, if I go out and look up Google.com, it will remember that I looked up Google.com and then store that in its own. So instead of having to generate the traffic and introduce that lag of trying to find Google.com from the internet, it just keeps that answer and then serves it back to you. So it's a little bit faster. And pretty much every router, home router that you have, uses DNS and has a DNS server on it. So that's what I have for that. Now, wow, blew through that pretty quick, even with audio troubles. And I apologize for audio troubles. It's actually not my fault, and I know that sounds like I'm trying to place blame, but really it is the internet here. It's not great, and it's the upload. No one really thinks when you're getting internet that upload's important, but it's very important, especially for this sort of stuff.
Pizza.
And pizza's here. Awesome. Yeah, I seriously think I should, like, whoever like watches these videos, I should take cold pizza and ship it to them.
I say go for it.
So I'm actually going to start.
You died again.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, audio's back. So I'm going to start my journey into installing and seeing if I can get Samba working as a domain controller. I have never done this before, with Samba 4 at least, and it'll be a completely new adventure that you guys get to watch me struggle and fumble through. So if you guys are struggling and fumbling through things, you get to watch me do it like a pro. So I'm going to use my new favorite.
Audio died.
So cool. Do not recommend using the domain controller as a file server. Okay. The recommendation is to run separate file or member servers. While the Wilson domain controller seems capable of running as a full file server, it suggests the organizations run a distinct file server to allow upgrades of each without disrupting the other. It also suggests that the medium-sized sites should run more than one DC. This is a good recommendation regardless. If you have a Windows network, you should always have at least 2 domain controllers. Just always. Because restoring a dead domain controller is painful process. And if you have 2, you don't have to restore. You just create a new one, and you roll on and act like nothing ever happened. So, server information. Different ways to install. We've already got installation done. Provisioning. This is the scary part. So, ooh, they even provide a nice tool for it. Let's try it. Shall we? Samba tool. Ooh, don't have it. DNF provides / Samba tool. My luck, I don't have it or can't get it. Yeah, great. Is this for version 4? Huh. Okay. Now we go to documentation of a different sort. I have 20. So okay. Awesome. Uh-oh. My other phone is dinging.
But the left phone is digging.
Yeah. Probably something dumb. Yep, don't care. No, it's saying SNTP is down. It'll come back in a minute. All right. Well, this isn't going to work. So, dang it. Let's look at IOTop. Well, let's look at top then. Ooh, free. That's what I want to know. I've used 5.4 gigabytes of RAM with 300 megs free. There is no way I can boot a VM without it just thrashing my hard drive to death. Great. So right now, my problem that I'm having is that in Fedora 20, they didn't have all of Samba 4 stuff yet, it appears. But we're going to just go ahead and pretend like that's not even a problem. So we're going to use Fedora's documentation. Here, let's make sure I can still see my audio bar. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Work group, we're going to go something, because I already have a DNS server called Lactea. I'm going to call this work group Lactea. The NetBIOS name, I'm going to call this Mercury. that's what we call it in DNS. Password TBD Sam, that's good. I'm gonna same. Actually, since this is a lot of typing and I'm lazy, copy. Bam. Documentation, it gives you like, it gets you started, but it rarely takes you all the way home. Yep, we're going to do all of that. Home, home, net login. I don't really care all about much about that. Dead again. Nope. No, there we go. To paste all that because I can. To a system, CTL restart. SMB. Now let's okay. Since that worked, I'm going to go with all of this. Copy. Successfully added group domain admin guests and users to okay. That looks good. Users, nobody, and NT admins. Nice. So that's actually not a bad thing, even though it did actually fail. Because I didn't do this. Now, if we do that, no such privilege. Well, that's actually probably not a bad thing because we're not docs. We're Lactea, right? Ooh. Interesting. Huh. What did I do wrong? Huh. All right, I got to do this apparently. Wasn't quite done with my really shouldn't matter because I really don't want to do this, but I'll put it there anyway. All right. Now I have to make the internet. Oh, there we got the sound back. Sorry. I noticed that the sound wasn't working, and thanks guys for making me pay attention that the sound wasn't working. Kerberos is a great technology. It was actually invented, I believe, at MIT. MIT developed Kerberos to protect network services provided by Project Athena. This is a pretty technical overview, but Kerberos is awesome, and it was actually, ironically, originally written for Linux and for Unix, and then Microsoft came around. Oh, we got sound again. Wow, this